Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today is just a little bit of a fun one. We have a retro console unboxing. So this is the Gameboy Color. Bit of an odd mouthful. But what's interesting about this is, although it does have sort of like emulation properties in there, it just takes old school Game Boy cartridges instead. So it's basically an old Game Boy Color ripoff that you can use the original games with. So I am looking forward to having a bit of fun and unboxing. I've also got my original Game Boy Color as well, just to do a bit of a comparison and cover off some of the differences between something like this and something like the Gameboy Color. So let's get it open, shall we? So yeah, the box itself, I mean, it's a pretty kind of washed out little package there. You can get these in multiple colors as well. So I think I've got this sort of like greeny aqua color. There's a yellow, green and a blue version as well. And you can also get the crystal purple, crystal green, and crystal blue. So, if colours are your thing, then there's plenty of those available in this. There's a lot of sort of Chinese writing on the back here, as you'd kind of expect from this sort of thing. 56 colours mixed to 32,000 colours, whatever that means. New style construction and economy-powered technology support multi-person games. Multi-person games, now that is a new one. I want to see what this is like. I have very low expectations. Just to let you know, they retail for about £30 to £40, so you can pick these up relatively cheap, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than getting something like the Game Boy Color with a backlit IPS display or something like that. So, depending on what this is actually like, and if it plays games relatively well, and if it feels decent enough, it could potentially be a decent value proposition. Oh my. Wow, that is see-through. Let's pop the console aside. What do we get? Oh, just kind of a bit of cardboard in there. And Kongfeng Industrial Co. Limited. Some Chinese instructions. Some more Chinese instructions as well. It did come with this bag, but I think that's just from the retailer I got it from. It's obviously, as you can tell, it's much bigger than that, and it has some batteries in here as well, some Kodak batteries, so let's pop that aside. Right, let's have a look at this, shall we? The moment I have been waiting for. Now, the reason why this drew my eye is because I've been wanting to get an IPS panel Game Boy Color for quite some time, and something that's backlit, because obviously it's just a pain trying to play the old Game Boy Colors. When you should go back to it, it's not nice. So I pop the batteries in just to get an idea of weight and stuff like that before I make any judgments. Oh, no, turn off. So size-wise, it's a little bit bigger, so you should be able to see that from the video and even from that kind of front on there. So it's a little bit bigger, definitely feels lighter. The original Game Boy Color definitely feels much more premium, and it's definitely got a good bit of weight. Plastic feels good, it feels more premium. This feels like kind of cheap plastic. As I said, it is larger in that screen, although they're very, very similar size screens. The Gameboy Color is a little bit of a shorter screen, and the bezels on it just look kind of much bigger, but I guess on this sort of console you're not too bothered. Buttons feel okay. D-pad feels alright. B&A is okay. Select and start is good, and the good thing about select and start is they're not these awful little nubs that you get on the Game Boy Color. The Game Boy Color, the buttons definitely feel better. There's certainly a much nicer press on them and stuff like that, but again, you'd expect it. This is, like I say, it's a £30 to £40 device. So look and feel of it, it feels very similar to something like the original Game Boy Color. So if you've used one of these, you kind of know what to expect. Let's power it on. I'll try it on without a game first, just to see what it's like. Ooh. Okay, so once it's powered on, it comes with some games pre-installed already. So like I said, it has some basic emulation side of things. So there are some games already preloaded. So if that's your jam and you want to be able to play some of those, then they're here and you'll be able to kind of scroll through them. It's very basic looking in its operating system, but who really cares? What we're here for is something like this. So let me just power that off and let's go with a bit of Pokemon Red, shall we? Okay, so slots in relatively nicely. The cart itself, I guess it's because this is a little bit larger, but it doesn't fit right to the top there. There is a slight bit of a gap, whereas on the original Game Boy Color it is pretty much flush with the top. Not really a massive deal, but just something worth noting just in case. So let's see what happens when you power it on with a cart in there. Oh, straight away. Oh, here we go. Ooh, having some nostalgia vibes. Okay, sound quality. Sounds pretty much like I'd expect from the originals. Okay. Oh! Looks like the battery in this is still working from all those years ago. Wow. Okay, so let's power that on. Yep. There it is. That is Pokemon Red playing. Backlight actually is really good. So if I then power on something like, so the original Game Boy Color, let's pop that on just so we can compare it. Just give you an idea. So the Game Boy Color, obviously, it was great for its time. It's one of those things, it's the first device that I got, and I absolutely sunk so many hours into Pokemon back in the day. Recently tried revisiting it because, you know, getting back into the retro consoles and all of that, and the thing that hit me straight away was just how hard this thing is to see. Unless you are literally face on in pretty much perfect lighting, it is just, it's not a nice experience, not at all. There we go. So, like I said, and you know, you should be able to see that here on the camera. The screen of the Game Boy Color is obviously it's more square, whereas on the GB Boy Color it's more of a rectangle, so it's a little bit shorter. Now, it's not too much of an issue, but it does slightly cut off the top of the screen there. So, where you've got sort of like character names and stuff like that, they're just getting cut off. However, in terms of the actual screen quality and everything, it looks pretty fantastic, especially at this price point. And it's definitely a much nicer experience than playing something like the Game Boy Color, because, again, just that backlight issue there. Now, if you had something like a IPS panel, or if you went for one of the modded versions of the Game Boy Color, then I'm pretty damn sure that this would be a much nicer experience to use than something like the GB Boy Color. Like I said, it just feels nicer, looks nicer. But it's the screen quality on this, and again, that's going to cost quite a lot of money if you want to be able to fork out for that. So actually, at 30 to 40 quid, the GB Boy Color is actually a really good value proposition if you've got a load of different Game Boy games kicking about that you want to be able to play. It's actually, it feels really nice, it looks good. The refresh rate on the screen, there's a tiny bit of stuttering, but apart from that, it's not bad. It's definitely a nice way to be able to play these, and ooh, definitely see myself sinking quite a lot of hours into this. It feels, it just feels so nostalgic. Absolutely, yeah, this is good. So to sum up my thoughts, this is actually a really, really good value proposition. If you're somebody like me who's recently got back into retro gaming, or if you just enjoy retro gaming in general, and you don't have an old Game Boy Color, or if you don't have one that's got the backlit screen or something like that, then this is actually a really good entry level into it. Again, it's a really good thing to be able to give to kids, or you know, just have as like a backup console that you want to be able to play on the go. You can play pretty much all your original games on the original carts by popping them into there, and you also do have some basic emulation stuff on there as well. Not bothered at all about the basic emulation bits, but being able to play like all my original games on this is an absolute lifesaver, and it definitely beats out paying like 100 and odd quid that I'd need to pay for something like this to have a better screen on it. Build quality, yeah, it's pretty lightweight and the plastic feels relatively cheap. Buttons feel okay, it's definitely good enough to play something like this. And the screen quality, despite being that little bit shorter and having a tiny bit of stutter on there, it looks pretty fantastic. Backlight's great, colours look pretty decent, and overall the quality of this thing, yeah, it's definitely worthwhile picking one up if you're in the market for this sort of thing. So that's just my first impressions of the GB Boy Color. Bit of a weird name, but you know what? It does what it says on the tin, and yeah, I actually really like it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you interested in something like this? Do you have one already? And what are your thoughts after using it for some time? Like I said, it's a great way to be able to play some of these older retro games without having to get ROMs and emulators and everything else like that. And it just means, again, if you're the kind of person who enjoys collecting these old carts and old games, then this gives you a really good, decent value way of doing that without having to get one of these or have to mod and potentially damage your old Game Boy, or just, buy one for, pretty hefty price. So I hope you've enjoyed that video, and if you have, let us know in the comments and hit the like and subscribe button so you can come along for some more awesome content in the future. If you've got any questions about the GB Boy Color, then throw them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I think that pretty much covers everything we've got to say on this, and I doubt we'll be doing a full review just because, you know what, it's basically a Game Boy Color that's a little bit cheaper in its feel, and it's got a backlit screen, so there's not much more to say on it there. So like I said, throw any questions you've got in the comments below, and in the meantime, stay safe, and we'll be back in the future with some more awesome content. Bye!